Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only movie review horror podcast that knows better than to update their operating system when they got work to be done for a podcast. With that out of the way, and before we bring in our full crew, Carly, Ashley, and Brooke, let's see what we're talking about tonight. Tonight, we review Insidious. Insidious is a 2010 supernatural horror film directed and co-edited by James Wan. Written by Leigh Whannell and starring Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and Barbara Hershey. In Insidious, parents take drastic measures when it seems their new home is haunted and their comatose son is possessed by a malevolent entity.
Okay.
That's what happens when you have to do a brand new program to do the intro.
Okay.
But thank you, Ashley, for the app that was able to use to get that done. I think I bring that music up a little bit, make it a little more spooky.
Nice.
But with that, who chose? I mean, I want to say if I didn't know better, I was like, "Oh, Brooke picked this movie." But Brooke did not pick this movie. So who did pick this movie?
I did.
Yay!
Yay! I'm back. Well, I picked it because it's been referenced several times throughout Talk Horror to Me, mostly by Brooke, but several times. And I wanted to watch it because I really want to watch The Red Door, but I got to start at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So we're starting at the beginning. And speaking of, Ashley, what did you think?
I liked this movie a lot, but we were talking, well, you had mentioned that you weren't scared. I wasn't scared. They really overhyped it, that it would be like this terrifying, scary, super, like you'll get nightmares. But like, I didn't get that, but the storyline is intense. And it's unique, but it feels so familiar. Like it's got poltergeist vibes to it heavily. It feels like it's really a giant throwback movie at times to Poltergeist. But all in all, it does stand on its own. And I'm very excited to see The Red Door. We're owed. What's behind it?
Exactly. Exactly. And since you're the one that was, hyping it up to me, Brooke, what do you think?
Well, I have a funny story. Okay, so when this movie first came out, me and my friend, she's not a horror fan at all. So we went to go see this movie, and I'm sitting there laughing hysterically. And she was like, you know what? She was like, you know what? I'm never coming to see a movie with you ever again. And I'm like, why? It's funny. I thought it was funny. It's not scary to me. It's funny to me. That's why I like it so much. I don't know. I like the devil, the demon entity. I don't know. I thought he was funny.
And if there's anyone in our group that would think a demon is funny, it would be Brooke.
It would be Brooke.
I was waiting for her to say she had the unrated version.
She probably does.
She's like, I got that.
I got that covered. Don't even worry. Wow.
What about you, Chuck?
I mean, I've seen this several times now. This first one, it's got a creepiness to it at times. The camera shots, the Dutch angle, which is where they start tilting the shot as they pan through a hallway. That grandfather clock at the very end of both houses, the attic scene, and they do some of the things that we kind of, it's been 10, 15 years now since this movie came out. So there's been that trope of like that quick cut of seeing like something creepy that disappears, like the guy who's behind the gauzy part of the nursery bed. So there are some creepy spots that I remember being like, oh, that's pretty cool. But upon several viewings, it gets kind of less creepy and more interesting. And this goes back to actually what you said, which is the story is tight. The story's got like lots of layers to it. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it that they reveal, they sprinkle in, and just give you enough to hang yourself. And that I loved. I love the idea of it. And to Ashley's point, I believe also, or I think Brooke, the Poltergeist reference. This, like you said, this movie is an homage to Poltergeist. Even if you remember when Specs has the raw meat on his face.
Yes.
Okay. If you remember, that counter is very much probably a 1-for-1 rebuild from when the meat in Poltergeist was like inching across it and then blew itself up from the inside. So yeah, they did a lot of things. This was a family in jeopardy, you know, trying to survive, trying to stay together. So in that kind of light, yeah, it's not scary unless you're like Brooke's friend who's like, don't ever bring me anywhere again. You're psycho. But I liked it. It was very interesting. I like the cuts. I like kind of the gray tones of the kid running through the scene. A lot of cool little things they did that really kept in my interest. Carly?
Well, like I said, wasn't scared. I thought the demon was ridiculous.
You're ridiculous.
I mean, ridiculous. I giggled. I was like, oh my God, really? They're afraid of this thing.
See, demons are just misunderstood.
Yeah, that must be it. I mean, he had a smile. Come on.
Yeah, he's just not very personable.
Yeah, I exactly. But I liked the story. I liked the family. His mother, I suspected had an inkling of what was going on because she was just so supportive and not like the normal person you see that's like going against what they think. You know, am I making any sense? Probably not. Somebody that's arguing.
She was a little too on board, is what you're saying.
Yes,
yeah. She was a little like, oh, I know somebody. You're like, how do you know somebody?
How do you know somebody? And how do you know what's going on?
Yeah.
And then and the team that came in, they were hilarious.
They were awesome.
They were hilarious. They were awesome. And the woman, is it Elise? Was that her name?
Lynn. Lynn, my favorite actress. Yep.
And she nailed it. She did so good. She did that creepy. I mean, it was just really well cast. It was really well done.
You don't think that she can get so creepy until she gets creepy, and you're like, you were a preschool teacher 5 seconds ago.
Exactly.
And then she put on a gas mask and it all wore off.
Yeah, she always does a really good job. I agree, Brooke. She's pretty phenomenal. When she pops up in a movie, I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good. I really wanted this.
Seen her in. I can't remember.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
She's one of those actresses that once you start seeing movies again, you're like, oh shit, it's her. Like you don't recognize her until you like know her from this movie, and then you start seeing her pop up in a bunch of stuff you'd seen over the years.
Yeah, and there'll be like B films that she'll be. I don't think that she turns anything down. I really don't. I think as long as the script's good, she's like, all right, let's do this.
She's like the female Nicolas Cage, never turns down a role.
That's just, you know, she could probably be friends with that demon.
I don't know, man. She was talking smack about him when she was like whispering like what the sketch should look like. She didn't seem too happy about that guy. I'm just saying. But with that, you bring up a perfect point, which is what were our favorites? Because ain't a lot of killing going on in this movie.
No, there wasn't.
Now, so we got to pick something else. So we got to pick favorite things.
Oh boy,
these are just a few of my favorite things.
Oh, I forgot to do that part.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go first then.
Okay.
I said Lynn Shay. Just demon slayer. I love this woman. She's amazing, casted perfectly. I do have to say that one of the creepiest parts, 2 parts, one I just mentioned was she whispering to Specs what to sketch, just like that, just the intensity of her looking up in a corner, and then putting on that gas mask and going. I honestly, it was so creepy, but it could be so hokey. Had they just done it a different camera angle or different music, like it seems like something on paper never would have worked, but it worked perfectly. And I think she's one that you get so much into the gravitas of her that like you're like, you'll give her allowance to do anything and just be like, yep, I believe that this is the way it goes. How about you, Ash? What was your favorite moment?
I think my favorite moment was more towards the end where the dad really gets proactive when he goes, yeah, when he goes, I didn't rewatch it and I've seen both the movies, so I'm not picking up on the second one, am I? He goes into the dream world basically in the first one. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
that is my all-time favorite moment, is his first time going in. And then I will say, like a little bit leading up, it gets better every single time that someone goes in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love how when he went into the further and then popped out in the Conjuring universe, I think that's really cool too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not him. Wait, that is him. Different story. It's almost like James Wan's like, listen, I know 12 people that act, and I need to use them in every film.
I just like how they left it so open. There's so much that they can do within that little realm. They kind of feed us a little bit of what it is, and us as an audience are like, okay, cool, and we just accept it. But it's so open. They can. What is in the red door? What's behind it?
We went through the red door. I went through the red door in this movie. What are they talking about?
Yeah, but are we going? Is that the red door though, or is that what they think is?
Well,
like it's different for everybody.
Now we have to pay $3.99 a movie.
I know
2, 3, and 4, so we can watch Red Door. So I told Farley beforehand I'm up to paying $10 to watch 3 films if I really have to.
You can just use mine.
The plot.
Oh, you're very sweet. See,
the plot only thickens.
I know. And since Brooke spoke up, what was your favorite moment?
Mine is when we first see the demon entity, like when he's up there playing the piano and the Tiptoe song comes on.
Yeah,
that Tiptoe song is creepy. So that's my favorite part.
Okay, nice. I mean, it's definitely. Here's what I'll say about that. Now, again, we're talking about how silly some of this seems to be. But if you really take that in context of like, this is the further, and this is like, that demons are almost like real people in some weird way.
Yeah.
That he's living in this weird kind of, I don't know, like Grand Central Station-y type of place. And he just, all he's doing is just sharpening up his knife fingers.
He's lonely. He's so lonely.
Freddy Krueger did the same thing, and we were scared to shit about him. So why can't this guy do something very similar? Is all I'm saying.
Right.
The better music. And how about you, Carly? We leave you best. We left you all this time to think about it.
I'll have to say, when she hears the voice over the baby monitor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen that trope like 4.5 billion times.
Know.
And
it's good every time.
Every time. I don't know what it is. It's almost like oh shit, a baby monitor. We're gonna hear some ghostly stuff. It's like every time it's like just like when you open a fridge from the side view and you close it and the killer's right there. And then you're disappointed when the killer's not there. Yeah. It's the same with the baby monitor. It's like if you don't use that thing, then you're not doing it right.
I agree.
I agree too. I mean, there's some tropes that should stay in all the time.
Yes.
I have to say the part that did scare me, like made me jump a little, was when she was telling the story and she looks over and sees the demon behind her son. That part did make me jump.
There's a lot of jump scares.
Yeah. And those photos though, of the woman in black coming towards and towards and towards. Like you said, Barbara Hershey is telling the story of like when you were young and I saw this thing and I thought it was just a light, and then all of a sudden you get closer and closer. It's just flipping through those stills, those photographs, like paced the movie so perfectly because of the way it like was closer and closer. I love that sequence.
I should have thought something had to do with him in pictures when they were at the beginning of the movie. She was showing pictures of her when she was young. And the little boy was like, well, what about that? And she's like, well, they don't really exist.
Which is perfect because we believe like, oh, all right, mom didn't take pictures of little Johnny. All right, whatever. So like it was just placed in perfectly as like an aside. And then we like find out the real reason. So that is like the perfect way to do narrative is like give it something, make it make sense, is throwaway. You don't think it means anything, and then it means everything. And that's what I think good writing is all about, which is what I like about this film. It ain't about the jump scares. It's not really about the cinematography. It's just about the story and just how it's just like father and son. It is about a generation of evil or incursion. And I love that. Only thing you really have to believe in is astral projection. Once you get past that, it's all believable.
I believe in like astral projection type situations, but I don't think that we can, I don't know. I don't think that we can really comprehend what's going on in that type of situation. Or not many of us can comprehend what would be happening. So I think that they did a really good job at putting a visual to what that means and the dangers of it, you know.
Yes, the dangers. I love the fact it's like, when you're out of your body, it's empty. And anybody who wants to make that connection, they got to work for it. But if they got enough, plasma, to get in there, they'll do it, Ectoplasm to get themselves in your body. Yeah. They're like, oh, look at me. Woo. And Brooke,
that's
remind
why he
us.
was playing the piano. He was practicing.
But Brooke, I have to ask you because I saw part 2 a long time ago. Don't really recall it. Is it a continuation of this story, or is it a prequel?
Part 2 is. But
so we do find out about the woman in black, right? That whole deal?
That's
okay. Does it pick up immediately, or is this like a little bit in the future?
Well, you didn't see at the end how.
Oh, I saw what happens at the end, but I don't want to.
Okay. It like continues on to it. Like tells the rest of it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
You could definitely watch both of these movies back to back and just make a day of it.
Cool. Okay.
That's what I'm about to do.
Oh shit.
Well,
see, that's what I want to do. I don't care about. Wait, what was the 3? I don't even think I've seen that one.
That's just 3. The third and then the 4 was the key. What? The lost key, the last key. And it
tells
the red door.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to do 1, 2, and then I'm going to do red door. And I'm not going to care about 3 or the key.
Okay. But the key tells Elisa's story. So it tells her backstory of how she became who she is.
So what's this 3 do?
3 is just stupid.
Three is still in the present day going forward then.
It's like a different story. Like different person. Like
gotcha.
Yeah. Oh. They did they pulled a Halloween.
Oh, Halloween 3.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
I like that. Although, people have said that Halloween 3, if put on its own merits and not compared to the other, Mike Myers part of the franchise, standalone is pretty creepy.
Okay. I don't know.
Because I will tell you this, when those kids are wearing their masks and they're all watching that television show and their faces start caving in and like rotten pumpkins, that shit scared the shit out of me. And I did at the time could be like, where's Michael Myers? It didn't matter because there was a lot of creepiness in that movie by itself.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Maybe that'll be Insidious 3. It'll just be its own little thing.
Yeah, it'll live on its own. And with that, because I'm rating Halloween 3, we need to rate this film. And so, Carly, you as the arbiter of this film, you need to tell us who goes first in order.
You.
What? Yeah. I teed you up so nicely, and that's how you're going to do me dirty? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going to give this, again, upon multiple viewings, it kind of changes what you know, what you see, what you like from it. I definitely think the story is the strongest part of this, visuals too. This movie only cost $1.5 million to make and made $100 million.
Oh,
so
okay.
Exactly. Horror films are awesome. That's why we all love them. And they cheap. We don't need $20 million scares in FX to really make a movie sing. And in this case, I think it sang. And I'm going to give it 4.25. Tiptoe through the trees.
Man, that creepy song.
Tiny Tim, baby. That song's for real, yo.
Tiny Tim.
Yes. Yeah, that's a
you?
real person, by the way, Brooke. That is
Yeah,
not just made up.
R.I.P. to him.
What about you, Brooke?
What about you, Brooke?
Oh man, I'm gonna rate it a 5. It's one of my favorites.
5 what?
5, I guess. 5 creepy woman in black.
All right.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Okay. What about you, Miss Ashley?
I'm gonna give this a 4. I love it. I was really wanting it to be a lot scarier than it was, but overall, I love this film. So it's gonna get a 4. Darth Maul, is that you?
Well played.
Awesome.
I think it's his cousin from the Sticks who did not become a Sith. I think he was like next in line. You, Ashley, you. I love that.
That's all I could think of the whole time.
I see that now.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't either until now, and I'm
I'll
never going to
be
not
able
see
to-
it.
I'll never be able to
No,
unsee
every
it.
single
Ever.
time you'll be like,
Darth Maul. Okay.
that's how he can do the astral projection stuff. He's got the force.
I love it. I love it.
I'm also going to give this a 4, but I'm going to give it a 4. Oh my God, Dad, he's looking.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. I have a question for y'all.
Yes.
They changed houses, correct?
Yes.
The child was already in a coma, correct?
Mhm.
Now, who hung up the drawings in the second bedroom at the new house? And nobody seemed to notice that, yes, we get it. There was like a unicorn / pony that was like the carousel horse. And nobody would have really thought about that. But there was a black background with a red door and a creepy dude with a red face. So who put that up there and didn't equate that to anything that was going on?
Or I watched myself sleep.
Yeah. It's like, why? Who put him up there? Was it the nurse? Because obviously she'd be the only one in the whole group who wouldn't care what was on that paper.
But I feel like it was what's his name? The kid, because Foster said he was scared because his brother was walking at night. So
Right.
maybe it was him that was putting him up. So
wait, I'm sorry. So now you're telling me that some random comatose kid puts him up at night, and the day I go in the next day, it's like, hey, where do all these paintings come from?
I don't know. He did say he was scared.
I know, and I was scared for him in that one scene where you hear the creaks and he like slowly shuts the door and goes under the covers.
Yeah.
Also very, very creepy. Just like without anything happening, super creepy. But yeah, it's like that was the only thing that was like, really? It's like, because they don't question the box in the attic.
Yeah.
That was missing. Nobody questions these very dark crayon drawings from a kid prior to his comatose state, assumingly. Mm-hmm. So there's something like, okay, you have it, and it makes the father believe you. Okay, great. But it's like, how did they get that? That's all I'm saying.
I like Brooke's theory. That makes sense.
And he drew him at night. And he's like it was a self-portrait is what you're saying. It's like the kids shackled in the further, and then the guy with the face is like, I'm gonna draw a picture of myself and hang it up. This is my room now.
It would be like a psychic connection, like the thing's trying to pull him into that, because the kid didn't astral project. He didn't astral project on his own. He was basically not with intent to do that.
Well, yeah, he thought he was dreaming. He didn't know he was projecting.
He was coaxed into it.
Well, that's it's like like the creepy van with the candy. I mean, he was coaxed into it. Same method, just with the dream.
Yeah.
Start you off flying like Superman. Next thing you know, you're shackled in cathedral somewhere.
Happens to the best of us.
I know.
I think once in our life.
Once. Only once.
If you don't have a shackle story, then you're not living.
Wise words from Miss Greyhouse. Is it with
we need t-shirts.
We do need t-shirts. Oh my God. If you're not shackled at least once in your life, you're not living. I'm writing that down right now.
We need it. We need it.
And because you're so epically prosy and amazing, Ashley, I totally foobarred your intro last week, and I tried to introduce your film. And Carly's like, "Wait, what about me?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, you." So, Ashley, what movie are you bringing with us for next week?
Next week, and I watched this today, and it is
Oh.
going to give you all some Insidious flashbacks when you watch this movie. But it is called Don't Listen. It is an English dubbed movie, but the voiceover actors are phenomenal. Like they do a really, really, really good job.
Okay.
All right.
And where can we see this fine piece of cinema?
You can watch this on Netflix, and I cannot wait to tell you all about it next week.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Very
so
No, I mean, the fact
excited.
that it's fresh.
I'm excited.
I mean, I have to say that you should have focused on Insidious this week and not like watch a film a week ahead of time.
I want to watch it. I want to watch when I rewatch Insidious 1 and 2. I want to do it in order with the with the red door. I'm holding out. But I have watched Insidious a couple times. I like
As
that.
have I. Yeah. Although
The series.
I was curious. I'm like, it's been a while, and I don't want to Wikipedia this in, like to remember. So watching it, but did give me that new appreciation. So for people who kind of think that the Conjuring universe and the like every James Wan produced universe piece, they do hold their own. Like the Conjuring universe is very different than the Insidious universe, but I find that the Insidious universe is very similar to the Sinister universe, not made by any of the same people. So vibe wise, it's definitely more like that. The whole thing of not just being haunted, but like that kind of supernatural, the world outside the world.
Yes, anything could be affected by this. It's not a haunted house. It's
We have a comment here.
Yeah, we do.
What is
on the movie?
Oh, is that
Battle
the
Royale.
Japanese movie Battle Royale? If that's what they're talking about, is a bunch of kids who are on a bus and they all get knocked out with like sleeping gas, and end up on an island where they have to kill each other to survive. And I think they have like something around their neck or something around their wrist. I forgot that will kill them if they try to get away or they don't fight. Some people are jumping off the cliff to kill themselves because they can't deal with it, because it was like, oh shit, we heard about Battle Royale. So it's kind of like Hunger Games before Hunger Games. It's
Hunger Games
I believe it's
Squid
Korean or
Games.
Japanese, huh?
I said Hunger Games meets Squid Games. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. But this was from, I want to say, the mid-aughts, maybe sooner. It's definitely one I've had in mind for us.
Available streaming somewhere.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy.
It's on Tubi. So
It's on Tubi?
yeah, it's on Tubi.
So that's what happens when people come in and comment. They get us all wrapped up in this stuff.
Yeah, like I'm watching
excited. I love movies and TV shows that have that premise. I just can't get enough of it, because what are you going to do when you're on an island with a whole bunch of strangers?
Right, and it is very spooky, like you said. Like either give up, or you like team up, or you become the fodder because you're the weakest. I mean, it's got all those tropes going on with it. Survival of the fittest. Very, what's the word I'm looking at? Lord of the Flies. It gets very brutal. But
I'm into
definitely put it on the list because I'm into it. Yeah. Cool. And with that, Carly, any last words on this film before we go?
I'm actually really happy that I got the chance to watch it. It was fun in its own way and funny in its own way, and but like we've all said, the story was amazing, and I'm really glad that it was hyped up so much that made me want to watch it. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke. That's right. Well, with that, because Brooke is so amazing and Carly's so amazing, and the very cold but wonderful Ashley Greyhouse is so amazing. It's freezing, y'all.
It's freezing.
So I will let you go into another room that has heat, and you can dry up. So, love to you all. I'm going to bid you all love and adieu. So with that, let me push you out the door. It is back up to me. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Talk Horror to Me. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. And remember, we are always here to scare you later.